The first night you bring the game home as a consumer, you plug it in and you pick up the controller and you have control of Superman. The first thing you're going to do, you're going to go, wow, when you pick up and fly. Because you'll pick up the controller, you'll fly through the buildings, you'll fly through the city, and you realize, wow, I really can go anywhere. And then you're going to hit that next layer where you hit the next control mechanism and you fly at super speed. You fly in excess of 800 miles an hour through the city. And that takes that initial wow and takes it to another level that literally no game has delivered on.
That, to me, is the most exciting thing and the most challenging thing about making a game around Superman is, you know, when you think about it, we're designing a game that needs to be cool from the ground level, needs to be cool from 20 stories up, and needs to be cool from a bird's eye view.
We have something that's very easy to pick up and play. Within seconds, you have a satisfying experience. But we have enough depth in the things that you can do with Superman, in the combinations of the controls, in the things that you can do in the game within the mission structure, and with our open world design that allow for a lot of learning and for a lot of skill-based education, development, and depth that the hardcore player really wants out of it. It's a pretty amazing world to just fly around with, regardless of the goals in the game. Just to move around the world is pretty amazing. We wanted to make you become Superman. We wanted to give you all of his powers. We wanted to be able to give you his flight, to allow you to go at the speeds that Superman normally travels, to give you a world where you can go anywhere you'd want to take care of things as they happen when you as the player decide. And all coming back to this psychological attachment between you and the player, making you feel, yes, I am Superman. I have control over everything he can do.
In the Superman mythology, Bizarro has a few different origin stories. The one we went with was that Bizarro is an imperfect clone of Superman. He has all of Superman's powers, but they're all opposite. So instead of heat vision, Bizarro has cold vision. Instead of super freeze breath, he has super heat breath.
Bizarro must do good. Bizarro destroy people.
Bizarro goes out of his way to try to help the people of Metropolis, but in fact he's actually putting them in precarious situations and doing a lot of harm to them instead. Bizarro means well, but he's just totally out of control, especially because we programmed his artificial intelligence to reflect his personality, so he's a little unpredictable, and it was a lot of fun to throw him into the Metropolis living city.
Have fun being hero by destroying city.
So my favorite Bizarro moment is when Bizarro's cold vision clashes with Superman's heat vision. The ensuing power struggle is massively cool.
Metropolis is just an enormous city. It was a big challenge from the beginning to make that real believable and put the player in the world and have the sound change no matter where you go.
One of the really exciting features in the game, musically, is what we came to call kind of vertical scoring. And what it involved was when Superman is flying around Metropolis, it's very aggressive, grandiose, triumphant Superman music.
As you fly higher in Metropolis, the sounds of the traffic and the pedestrians and all the hustle and bustle, or the danger and chaos and sirens, depending on what's happening, all start to fade away, and as you pass the building tops, they all just gradually give way to a lonely, haunting, ethereal wind sound, and as you look through the clouds down on Metropolis, you just hear the faint upper parts of the music, the strings and the choir and the harp, and it really gives you a huge sense of space.
In this day and age, a lot of scores are produced digitally, and others are produced with a live orchestra. Fortunately, we were able to kind of meld the two. We recorded a 75-piece orchestra for the Superman score, and it was such a thrill to hear what you kind of envisioned in your head for so long come to life with all those wonderful musicians. And what you end up with is kind of a hybrid, unique sound that is grandiose but also aggressive and modern. The end result is really incredible.
I hope people will be really excited about the way this game sounds. Also, super speed is really cool, especially the first time you do it.
interactive games is like, it's like doing a movie in 3D. You've got a story that you're following, but at the same time, people have to feel that they've written their own story. The gameplay itself is the storytelling. And the whole idea is to make them feel like they've been in Metropolis and they've had this adventure with Superman, and yet it's been their own experience.
It's a matter of taking what seems to be a non-linear story where events could be happening in different orders, and yet still tying it together so you're feeling like you're actually seeing a story happening while you're playing, but it can be done from different points of view, different angles, different time periods are happening almost at the same time. So the trick is, and the fun of it is, to take something that isn't linear, make it feel it while it's still non-linear at the same time. It's an incredible puzzle, but as a writer, you're looking for those things that you've never done before, and I think taking that to turn it into a story to make you feel that you're following a narrative is incredible, and that's to me the most fun. When you have one character who's not doing the same type of thing another character would do, so that Superman's way of going against the villain's method of attack, all of that has to be unique to the character so that the levels are very different. And the characters that have been picked are very different from each other, so the actions won't be the same. It'll force you to have to rethink your ways. You're not attacking the same guys in the same way throughout an entire game because these characters won't let you. Superman was my first love. When I was a kid, I saw the Superman TV show, and that changed my entire life from that point on. So Superman's always been my favorite, but Metropolis had never been anything that you could recognize. It was whatever any individual artist drew. It never had a personality. It was really like Midtown Manhattan. And in this, there is an incredible look that is so unique, and yet when Flint and I both looked at it and went, that's Metropolis. Yeah. You've never seen a Metropolis like this. You've never seen a downtown Metropolis like this or a midtown, and every section was different, and yet it all seemed to fit as a whole. It's not Gotham, it's not New York City, it's not any city you've ever seen, yet you know that's Metropolis. This is the place Superman would come from. In the past, a city is the backdrop. And no matter if you have, even in a video game, it's just an image that's behind the hero, and the hero is going through it. Here, it's actually an interactive part of the hero. They can fly into it, they could crash into it, they could take things from it, they can move around it, they could circle the buildings, and it's not 1 or 2 blocks. Like in a lot of games I've seen, this is an entire city. Metropolis was definitely the thing that blew me away.
It's that moment when you get the controller in your hand, and you press it, and you get the surge of power, and you see the thing fly around on the screen, you're thinking, okay, this really feels like Superman. That's where we want to be. It's not like a flying guy on the screen. This got to feel like Superman. You got to have the surge of power. You got to have the thing, shake by the fact it's Superman. You got to have the soundtrack burst. That's when I know it'll be a great game.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, I mean, it's always an honor and a joy to work with an icon. Metropolis is an icon, and it just doesn't get bigger than Superman.